Okay, so hi Dennis. I am so glad to be here with you. I will try to find my best English during this episode with
Excellent.
you.
Your best English is a lot better than my best French, I'll tell you that.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate that.
No worries.
I have no doubt that you will help some sales teams to change their minds about the way of they are doing quotes in their companies, in their sales process. But first, I would like to tell you who you are and what is Gleanquote.
Yeah, Gleanquote is a quoting, proposal, and CPQ tool, kind of wrapped all in one. So we've modernized a little bit of the tools that all go together, similar to what a CRM would do, and we tie very well with HubSpot and integrate perfectly with them to kind of keep everything in one place. And my name is Dennis Eckman. I'm one of the co-founders of Gleanquote. We give you a little bit of background on our company is Bill Calhoun and myself. We actually come from manufacturing and distribution background prior to this. We had a playground company. We're in the States. I'm in Central Florida. He's more in Eastern Florida. And for 15 years, somehow we met. He's an ex-aerospace engineer and I was an ex-analyst and retail guy. And we met and I ended up running sales and operations for a commercial playground company he had, and there were no good tools back then. This was 15 years ago. I mean, HubSpot was just coming out. There was no really positive quoting tool, CRM, anything. So you had to do everything on paper, and we'll get to that in a minute because I know that's one of your questions because the cloud and SaaS companies, this is only something that's been a revolution in the last 15 years or so. And it's really helping a lot of people, but people have to know which companies to trust and who to rely on. But that's a little bit of background on Gleanquote. When that company, when he sold that off, we decided to spin off the software side that we had developed and turn it into and focus on the CPQ side because that was the CPQ and quoting side. That seemed to be where most people were lacking, in the offerings they had. So hence Gleanquote. That's why we exist.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. How's the business right now? Because the business of coaching solution has changed.
Yes.
What do you think about the coaching business right now? Because there are just a few solutions. There are also Excel on the competition.
Sure.
As a competitor.
Yeah.
What do you think about the coaching business right now?
Yeah, I tell you what, it's evolved. It's definitely evolved. Same as CRM or any other, like I just mentioned with cloud business and with SaaS and with more modern technology. We're in technology now where we grab our phones and we expect to click things once and it just happens.
Exactly.
And I think a lot more software companies are getting one or two click solutions. Where the challenge comes in is that these companies we're talking about that have been in business for 50 years, 100 years, even 20, 30 years, they have a process. I would tell you that the people we talk to, the biggest challenge is they have a process. They don't have a quoting solution. Some of them, not even a CRM solution. They were just managing in old school. They were managing, with a Rolodex or with a, on maybe some kind of a communication portal for the customer. So CRMs have come a long way too, but a quote solution was, written down on a piece of paper or two pieces of paper. And you were taught that when you started at a company, here's the process. It wasn't a solution. It was a process. And it was, you have to go check with somebody to get this approval. You have to call on the phone to put out a more complex quote. You might've had to make 10 phone calls to get pricing updated. You had to find the right, like you mentioned, the spreadsheet. That's what everybody turned to, years ago, because it was the only place to store a lot of information that everyone could get to. And luckily, even those are better now, where they're shared spreadsheet solutions rather than, having 10 different versions of it where you could get it wrong. So the process, I think, has evolved to the point where, people are seeing, especially if they've been exposed to it. Somebody's coming from one company that had a more modern solution and now they're at a company that doesn't. I think that we're seeing a lot of people more exposed to, the one or two click, and I have what I need in front of me generation. And that's one of the things I love about our relationship and our relationship with HubSpot is that it is a triangle. HubSpot's the glue that holds it all together, right? I think of it this way. HubSpot is like, you go into an office building. I know a lot of people work from home today, but picture an office building or a hospital or something like that has a lot of people moving around. And HubSpot is the network, the mainframe that connects to everybody's desk. So they can not just talk to each other, they can talk to people on the outside, they can talk to their customers. And we're one of the tools on that desk that they have right in front of them. Oh, I need this report, or I need this quote. And it has to be right in front of me. And where you guys come in, you're the IT experts. You're the person that knows the hospital, the building, the people, all the tools that are on that desk and how it all needs to tie together for their organization to work properly. So it's a good triangle.
That's quite a big difference between a platform, an all-in-one platform versus an all-on-one platform. I think that's the idea of HubSpot, to connect with different systems, as Gleanquote also.
Right.
And Dennis, you already gave us some answers, but to your opinion, how is it so difficult for companies to make a quote? And what challenges are linked to the quote steps in the sales process?
In those steps, yeah. And I think it depends on the company, right? Manufacturing and distribution background, there might be a lot of moving parts and pieces. There's pricing changes constantly. Yeah. The reason people have those long processes is because they don't want to get it wrong. A quote is two things. Number one, it's the final step or one of the steps in the deal process. It's not hunting for sales. It's, I'm talking to somebody now. I've got to put something in front of them that they can say yes to. And that's where the quote and proposal comes from. It's not just a pricing tool. It's not just a calculator. It's something that I can also put in front of a customer quickly, that they can see, what we've discussed, and that they can actually sign off on and say yes to, and where people find currently in their companies, the difficulty in that is getting to that point, and how many steps are in their current process, and how can we as a team and with HubSpot help them eliminate some of those steps, or get those steps so refined that they're just smooth, and it is a 1 or 2 click thing to get all that data together, and no one has to pull out a calculator or get someone on the phone to go figure out pricing. It's just there. And that's the biggest solution to that. And I'd say the other thing is fear of change. If somebody's been in a company for 15, 20 years and they've always done things, I used to work for a large, I won't say who they are, but a large plumbing and wholesale manufacturing company in Florida. And, one of the first things they gave us was, here's your list of customers. It was old school computer system, right? Here's your list of customers, and here's how you build a quote. And here's how you do this process. And the process, really, you could have laminated 4 or 5 pages and put it in front. We had that in front of us. Don't skip a step. With software, with modern software, you don't need that. I go click a proposal. My steps are already built in. One of the beauties of a system like HubSpot or like Gleanquote is we can build workflows. We can build automations in there. The rep doesn't have to remember all those steps. It just pops up in front of them, and they can do what they need to do. They go get the pricing. So the salesperson now in today's world with modern software that's all connected, they can actually spend time talking to their customer, building a relationship with their customer. They're not spending 4 hours in the evening going back and building their quotes so that they have them ready for tomorrow. It should be a 5-minute process.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're talking about the answers that are divided. The companies are built into silos, and that is why the answer is not shareable. That's not shareable. That's not available for everyone into the company, especially for sales teams. And in your process, when you talk about Gleanquote or coaching solutions with your prospects, can you name maybe 1 or 2 big misjudgments that your prospects are thinking about the traditional way of doing quotes?
Sure. I would say the biggest misconception, or when they go into this process, they think You know, you have to remember too, a lot of these companies, new or not, companies have a process in place generally. I don't care if it's a spreadsheet, if it's a Word document. And this is a mistake sometimes that when we're approaching them, or any sales company that's approaching them with a solution, forget that company actually is doing business today. They have a process. It's not that they don't have a process. We need to dive into their world and learn their process, because they're afraid that they're going to lose one of those steps. Yes, we have these 15 steps that we need to make sure, because it has to be right, because it's going to go to accounting when we're done. This is money on the bottom line if it's a closed won deal, right? It's important. So we have to help understand their business. I think that it's the concept and the fear a little bit of, like I was mentioning before, the change. They're used to, you know, if they've been through it before, things taking 6 months to a year and a half. If anybody's been through, and I'll mention ERP out there too, because I know that's one of the most challenging things that people change, an accounting system. I had a friend that was a good CFO of a company, and would tell me that the worst experience they ever had was when they changed out their accounting system. And nowadays it's the same thing. It's somebody changing their CRM, someone changing their quoting system, because there's so many moving parts and pieces. They want to get it right. I will tell you, quoting solutions, from what I've seen, you know, we're one of the easier parts. You get us your product, your pricing, your method. We've had people come to us that were a little fearful in the beginning, because they're switching from, you know, bigger companies with old school CPQ systems that took years to build and a lot of money and time. And they just remember that, you know, and they don't want to go through that again and have something be wrong. And we've gotten some of these people onboarded with our system in HubSpot in 6 to 8 weeks, finished, where the salespeople are actually using the system. And even quicker if they have simpler processes. So I think that the biggest misconception is the time and how much resources, you know, we do need to learn their business. They need to help teach us their business, but that's where partners like you come in, and you guys really dive in and learn every bit and part of their business to help us understand how we need to put those pieces together. And how we need to have it all link in HubSpot. And I think that people just need to, they have to let go of the fear a little bit and realize that there's companies like us out there working together to make it better for them. That's our whole purpose. You know, the best thing I can say is when I talk to a customer and they, after an onboarding, and they say, "Wow, that was smooth," and they're just wiping the floor. I could take a vacation now. That went a lot smoother, and they're excited about the new software they're in. That's what I'm in this for. You know, it's seeing the excitement on their faces when they have a new piece of software. Yeah,
I'm sure there are a lot to say that to you.
Yeah, quite a few actually.
And that means that you're doing a good job, a great job.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
With them. And firstly, when you talk with prospects during the first exchange, what are the most frequent questions asked by your prospects? And maybe the 3 or 4 questions that are already I will repeat. What are the most frequent questions asked by your prospects when you talk with them?
Yeah, it's usually feature questions, right? They want to know what you can do. They always have something in their mind that they know. They know they need price lists, right? Because they send, I just got off the phone with a customer yesterday that we're onboarding, and her main question was, I've seen a few different systems. I need something that can manage 400 price lists easily. And how can I do that? Because they have special pricing for every one of their customers, and our system can do that. And how's the integration with HubSpot? Because I actually want to manage it in HubSpot and have it automatically pull in your system. No problem. That's built in. You know, that's an easy question. Configuration. A lot of it comes down to pricing and configuration of product. Everybody is selling something specific that, you know, we're not talking about going into a grocery store, buying a box of cereal off the shelf and going to the checkout. Everything in a quoting system or when you're talking to a customer in our world is slightly customized, or it has some, I need this, but it has to have this, and it has to have this, and it has to have this piece to go with it. And I want to make sure. So the second biggest one is the configuration of pricing and the product. But I will tell you, the biggest question I get when we're talking to sales leaders, or again, the accounting side, we get marketing leaders and CFOs on the phone, and they say, we're losing revenue because our reps forget to put something on there. And we had it was a tech company we were talking to the other day, and they said, can I have a dependent product that always shows up if this product shows up? Yes. What's that product? And they said, well, it's a power cord, because they sell to 20 different countries, right? So they have to select the right power cord to make sure it's going to plug in. And the reps always forget. They either leave it off or have the wrong power cord. And then their product is not usable. And we're talking, it's a high dollar product. So that's another question. How can I make it easy? Which is a great question. How can I make this easier for my reps? And to not make a mistake or to not get it wrong. And building in some of those automations or some of those dependencies, we can have it automatically show up. The rep can't forget about it because it's staring them right in the face. Don't forget your power cord, So those are things that the companies, I usually ask. What brings that out is one of the first questions I ask is, how are you quoting? What's your quoting process look like? Read me those steps, and which is one of those points in the process is bringing you the most heartache, which one is causing the most pain. You got to be like a doctor there. Tell me where it hurts, and we can focus on that and find a way to fix it.
Yeah, you're right. Because I wanted to ask you, is it relevant to questions to ask about features? Because, firstly, is it relevant to ask features? And my second question is, what does the difference between two different sales coaching solutions, two sales coaching software? What does the difference really?
Right. And features, people want a solution, like I said, when we're talking to people and they bring up features, they're really looking for a solution. They just know that they have specific features that they're using today. It doesn't mean that those are the features that they need or what, so that's why we dive into that process. And the differences with a lot of solutions that, you mentioned Excel before. Why do a lot of people turn to something like Excel or PowerPoint or a Word document? Is because it's a blank canvas that you can do just about anything on. So it's ultimately flexible. So when you're looking for a quoting solution or you're looking for a CRM solution, the company should look at the flexibility. Does this company have enough flexibility, and does it have enough of these tools in the toolbox? I may only need 5 of these 100 tools in this toolbox, but it doesn't have those 5. Yes, but it has also these other 5 that are a slight upgrade, or here's a 6th one you never had before, but look what it does, And so I think that, it's more about, it becomes about the solution as a whole, the toolbox and how it works, not just the features. And that's why asking those questions when we're first talking to people, tell us what features you have or how you're doing your process, the features come out and the features that they need. I love seeing a finished quote. What does it look like today? Because I've seen some that look great, and I've seen some that are 50 pages and it's a lot of black and white text. And, it reads like a contract, which some of them do have contracts that go with it. Absolutely. But the quote part of it, or the proposal part of it, and the dollars and cents, or if you're selling a product, maybe there should be images on there. We can embed images now that are loadable. Give it a little bit of pizzazz to the quote. Make it stand out so the customer knows what they're seeing. Which we can do in a digital world now. A little harder in the past when everybody had to print everything out.
You are talking about a big point, big challenge, because a quote is here to bring value to customers.
Right.
In the traditional way of doing, or the mindset, the traditional mindset coaching mindset is that, okay, my quote is a PDF.
Right.
But today, a PDF does not make the difference when you talk with a prospect who are talking with a lot of your competitors.
That's
so
exactly.
How do you bring value to your prospects?
Right.
And I think in 2023, there are different solutions that can help you to bring this value to customers. Do you see a a change of the mindset of sales team, sales director that would like to bring a lot of value with the prospects
Absolutely.
by the quotes, by their quotes.
Absolutely. I think that the people, when we get on a phone with a team of people, right, and the people that see it the most are usually the sales leaders, right? It's the sales directors, it's the sales operations managers, it's people like that, because they know what their teams are doing. And they know my team has to get, every one of my sales people has to get out. It's another question I ask. How many quotes is each person putting out and in what time frame? And when I have people tell me that they have their reps putting out 100, 150 quotes a month per rep, what's your process look like? Are they getting all 150 out? They need something to modernize it and make that process smoother and quicker and faster. And then one of the questions I ask, and I'm not afraid to ask it, is how many of them are going out wrong? And I will tell you what, those people or someone slightly in that company, if there's an accounting person on the phone, they know the answer to that. And I've heard anywhere from 50% to 20% go out wrong, incorrect. So there, I will tell you that the sales teams and the people that are out there talking to customers, they know there's a better way. They see other companies doing it. They see their competitors doing it. They know there's a better way. There's a faster, smoother way. It's not like they're blind. If someone was to send to me today, and I've been in the business a long time, if someone sends me, and we sign NDAs every day, right? If someone emails me an old school NDA and says, can you sign this, scan it, print it, and scan it and send it back to me, I'm like, what world are you living in? How I actually had a customer say, what's your fax number? I'm just going to fax this over to you. I said, we do have one linked virtually, yes, if you have to fax, but
I do not know anyone who has a fax today.
But when you're talking to now this is a definitely a question when you're talking to some companies that have been around for 100, 150 years, manufacturing companies. Some of the companies we talk to, they've been around a long time. They still have a fax machine. They still have a Rolodex on someone's desk. There's no doubt in my mind. So how do you get those people comfortable with new systems and new solutions? It's got to be easy. It has to be those same people that have a fax machine and a Rolodex also have an iPhone or an Android phone that they're sitting there and they're playing games on, or they're doing.
You're right. Yeah.
They have the one-click environment. They just don't have it at work. And what we do, what HubSpot does, and what you help coordinate is bringing that 1, 2, 3 click environment into the workplace. So again, to make things smoother and easier.
Thank you, Dennis, for all these answers and all
no
these
worries.
tips. Yeah, I would like to ask you another question.
Sure.
And that's a big one. Why it will benefit? Sorry, I will repeat.
Sure.
Why it will be a benefit to link your coaching solutions to your CRM? Because there is one misjudgment that I do not want to multiply my tools. I want one tool that does everything. We were talking at the beginning of this episode about the differences between the platform all-in-one versus the platform all-on-one. But we know that a CRM is a CRM. A coaching solution is a coaching solution. An ERP is an ERP. And our subject right now is the link between the coaching solution and the CRM. Why it will be a benefit to link these two systems?
The biggest benefit is looking to the future, right? Get the best company that does the best product that you're looking for. HubSpot, if they're the best CRM out there, you use them as your CRM. It doesn't mean they're going to be the best quoting tool. It doesn't mean they're going to be the best CPQ. They're not going to have the best ERP. They may have the best marketing tool, no doubt, but but the reason for it is because each one of these companies, we made a decision years ago. We actually started, to give you a little bit of history, we started as a CRM. Our first year in the business, we were going to be the CRM. We actually went down the all-in-one path and realized very quickly in our first 6 months that this is not a tool that is going to be sustainable, right? And it's more about sustainability down the road, years down the road. If we focus on CPQ quoting and that process, we're always going to be on the cutting edge of what people need for quoting. We're always going to be updating it. We're always going to be making sure it's the best quoting solution you have. CRM is going to be making sure that they have the best communication tool and the best CRM tool for the reps and for their customers and for management to have reporting and all that. ERP, how many ERPs do you see that are also CRMs? There are quite a few out there. You don't have to answer because I know you know some of them that are. Their ERPs are fantastic, but the CRMs that are part of it are not, because they are only focused, they're focused on one thing and they're the best at that. So I think the triangle again comes in with the different partners, and the app partners is getting the best of the best for what your needs are as a company, tying them together and making sure that that stack works well together. And honestly, it doesn't need to be as big a stack. With someone like HubSpot, HubSpot does have a lot of features in there. We have a lot of features in our CPQ. You're talking 4 or 5 things in a stack, maybe, and you can do all of your business. And, but again, it's sustainability in the future. Which one is going to grow with me as a company versus now 5-10 years down the road, a lot of the all-in-one solutions haven't grown with me. My company's tripled, quadrupled in size, and now I need to go through another transition and bring on HubSpot and Gleanquote because I went with an all-in-one to start with, and that's a challenge we face every day. We see people that have gone with that, and they're like, okay, now we're going with HubSpot, and we need this tool, and we need this tool. We've grown. We've got 30 sales reps, not 4 anymore. And we need a tool that's easy for them to use. The spreadsheet's taking too long. So it's just, like I said, sustainability and growth is what companies have to think about. And that's what they get with a platform like ours together.
Okay. That's perfect, Dennis.
Well, thank you. So it's like I've done this before.
You know your subject.
Well, like I said, we focus on quoting, and we understand quoting and proposals and CPQ, and we know when our job is done. We're done when that proposal's signed. Hand it back to HubSpot. You do your thing. HubSpot takes it to an ERP. They do their thing. We know our role, and we play it very well.
Perfect. Real thank you, Dennis, for everything. I'm sure this episode will be very useful to a lot of sales teams.
Good.
If it is the case, you know who you have to talk to. It's Dennis.
Exactly. And we're very approachable. Yeah, you know how to reach us. Let customers know. I would say I'd love to get this into Seismic as well for HubSpot, for both of us, into our Seismic accounts, which also has my contact information, our company's contact information, and talk a little bit about, changing it to a new quoting system or a new CRM shouldn't be as scary as it was 5-10 years ago. It should be, it still takes time. It's not a flip of a switch. It doesn't happen immediately, but it takes someone like you that understands how to put it all together, or your team, and tools like ours or like HubSpot that can bring it all together. And that's the perfect marriage of all.
As I said, we're in 2023. There's always a solution right now.
Right. There's a solution for everything.
Yeah. How would you like to conclude this episode, Dennis?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching, and the people that are out there that are looking for a solution, or that have some frustration or some pain in their current, like I said, where out of your current process, where is that pain? Whether it's with your CRM, whether it's with the organization, the data, something. If you're missing something that you think would be better, or you have a serious pain in one of those areas, reach out to us. It's a quick conversation. In 5 minutes, we can help you identify where that pain is and see if we can help. And the same with you guys. If people just, like I said, don't be afraid to ask us questions. Hit our website, shoot us an email. We're more than happy to hop on a quick call and review their current process with them and see if it's a solution for them.
You're fully right. Thank you, Dennis.
All right.